Okay. I am told there are about 42, 43 people here at the campus. Here. I hope everyone's coming on the screen. Yeah. So that's what we have on the campus, and I'm told there are about 32 online. Yeah, and we are expecting about 10 more people to join in. Right? I'm just giving you an indication of the number of people who are attending, and we have here, who you see on Zoom, our speaker, Mr. Zafar Khan, whose introduction you already got. Yet I feel it is worth introducing him. I have known him from the time when he started Hair Espresso for Javed Habib, although his own experience in franchising goes to over 3 decades. And he has used that as a tool to help people rapidly expand without making much of an investment, because as you understand, franchising is an asset-light model, right? So that's been his forte. In fact, with Javed Habib, I specifically remember that he was the one who convinced Javed Habib, who was otherwise only into premium hair cutting, to start a dry haircut for, at that time, maybe what, like 100 rupees or something. Okay, and it's seen and survived and scaled over, I think, the last 10-15 years, if not more. And they have a pan-India presence, as you know. And of course, he's done it for companies in other sectors as well. So when we were planning this, I think he was on top of my list in terms of people who could enlighten us. And the way we will structure this is, I've asked him to give us an overview for about 20 minutes. And after that, we'll open it up for questions. So आप अपने questions note करते जाओ. The ones who are physically here can note it. The ones who are online, you can post your questions on the chat. And there are organizers of this meet who you know who are keeping a tab. They will give you a chance to, or they'll make sure that those questions are answered. And if required, you can just write to them about, wanting to unmute and also speak. So, ज़रूरत पड़ा तो वो भी कर देंगे. Because there are so many participants, right now we have kept everybody on mute for the sake of a smooth presentation. So, I think I'll just set the context in terms of how we will have the full day going in. I mean the next 2 hours, not the full day. So, basically, Mr. Zafar Khan will address us for the next 20-25 minutes. We'll take up questions for the next 15-20 minutes. After that, we'll have 2 more speakers joining in, Mr. Ajay Gupta and Anand Jain, who will join us. And I have also kept a surprise in the end, which is there are, I think, about 10 people who want to give a franchise. There are many others in the batch. There are many other participants who may have that in mind, but 10 who want to make a pitch. And we have given them a minute to address you and make that pitch. Idea was what? They are able to reach out to the other 60-70 people here in case they are interested in connecting further. And the 60-70 people are not just getting knowledge, but a real opportunity which they can obviously explore. How to explore that opportunity, you will learn before that. Correct? So I think whatever Mr. Zafar Khan will speak will be relevant for the ones who are making the pitch also and for the ones who are interested also. Okay? So that's how we will structure it. Vis-a-vis the 2 other speakers also, I will try to follow an approach where we will let them speak for a few minutes, and then either I'll open up Q&A for you, or I'll take up the Q&A on your behalf. Okay? So far, if anybody has any suggestions, just start putting it on the chat, and I'll keep a track with the organizers if something is coming through. Otherwise, I'm just getting it started with Mr. Zafar Khan, and he will start his address. Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Hello. Okay, I'm going to expose you to something, one of the best business models that can ever exist. So, if you create a checklist, a very big checklist, and say, let me pass these business models through this particular checklist, 99% of the business models would fail. Very few will go through. Because it's the franchising system that works in that particular manner. Let me explain that to you how on my slide. Next slide. See, let me explain to you how franchising is. So I put a very big claim, this is one of the best business models on earth. Nothing can be better than this. And why? This can be. See, I made a very, very big claim. This is one of the best business models. Nothing can beat it. So now I'm going to tell you how it works first, and then I'll tell you why it is best. And then, what is it in for you? So to understand the system, a franchising is nothing but a leasing arrangement. You are leasing a brand. Just you have created a brand. So think of the brand like a car, like a vehicle, like a house. So you are leasing that brand. Not only you are leasing the brand, but also the franchisor has developed a business process. He has formulated a business model. Then he has developed the business process. Then he has tested and tried it out. So that he gets rid of trial and error from business, which is very expensive and time consuming. So the franchisee is actually doing leasing. So one could say that what are they leasing? So if I just sum it up in very few words, they're actually leasing success. They're buying success. It's pure success because it is somebody has tested, tried out, checked, rechecked, and the onus of the proof lies on the franchisor. It is he who has to prove that, listen, my business model is foolproof and I have proven it beyond doubt. Look at my franchisees. So you say that when they prove it, so what we ask as a franchisee who is going to acquire a franchise from the franchisor, can you give me your audited balance sheet, P&L, certified by a chartered accountant? Now that, once you have a CA certified, audited P&L and balance sheet, it is beyond doubt. There's nothing to doubt about it. So you say that show me your showcase couple of franchisees, say at least 3, and let me check the P&L and the balance sheet which are audited by a CA. Then I will consider to take your franchise. But very rarely in the country prospective franchises do that. They are in a very big hurry to acquire the franchise. So they don't do due diligence, but must do due diligence because you are buying a business process, you are leasing a business process, you are leasing a brand which you are going to run it.
So my suggestion is, in case you guys have any questions, like I already had one question in my mind, okay? So I'll ask him, what approach would you prefer? You would prefer the questions when we have it, or you want to hold
I'll
it?
finish it and then.
Finish it and then? Okay, we'll hold on to our horses, let him go in the flow, and then we'll ask the questions, okay? For those who are online and offline both.
No, just go back to that previous slide. So first I spoke about leasing arrangement. So what you're leasing is, you're leasing success, you're leasing a brand, you're leasing a business process. You are actually leasing. So when you say there is a leasing, then there is naturally a time period. So there is a tenure of the contract. It could be, normally it is around 5 years, some make it 3 years. On an average it is 5 years and 5 years renewal. So you renew it every 5 years. So for 5 years, you have leased that brand and you can renew it thereafter on mutual consent with the franchisor. Next is the territory. So you have leased the brand, the business process, the time and the territory. The very important thing is territory. So you say, I want a franchise for this territory. First you have to find out, is the territory available? Most of the franchisors, they plot it on the Google map. And they may have some kind of territory rule. Like for example, that 2 kilometers diameter on the left side, right side and all my 4 sides, I will not give a franchise to anybody. So you will have exclusive rights over a certain territory. So it is time and territory. So what does one check? Is the territory lucrative? So one has to study the territory very carefully. What is the potential of the territory? What kind of competition exists over there? What are the buying habits of the people within that territory? The more you study the territory, the safer you become when you take a franchisee. So some of this slide is your leasing, brand, business process, then you are blocking a certain territory and a time period is given to you, the time tenure. Now why I say it is the franchise model, I would say I have 50 years of experience in franchising and I must have built over 1,000 franchise across multiple brands and sectors. So many years ago when I was young and I was trying to study business models and I was trying to find out, like whatever you do, the competition comes and overturns it. So I was looking for a business model like that, you cannot beat it. So what I found was that you cannot beat a franchising system. So I said 50 years ago, I said let me focus on this system, on the franchising system. Wait. 50 years ago, I said, let me focus on the franchising system. Let me test it and try it. In fact, I used to be an ad agency. Long ago, I used to run an absolutely brand communication company. And I got into franchising when nobody knew franchising. And just some people had come in like Data Pro, NIIT, AppTech. So these people were just about coming in. And I had gone to make a pitch for the advertising company to one company called Data Pro. And they told we are going to build 100 branches in a year or two. So I thought, what nonsense they are talking, they're building 100 branches, It's easy to build 100 branches because capital intensive, your management issues, so many issues, what are they talking? So they said, no, we are going to build it through franchising. Now I had a...
Closer to this mic.
Okay.
Possible. Use this as a space.
So when I was exposed to that, somebody said that, that we'll build 100 branches in a year or two, I was shocked. I thought that they're, pulling a fast one. But later on they said that, we're going to do it with a franchising system. So we said, franchising system, we heard the word first time from them. Later on, I had a very small client who had just 500 square feet area and whose whole year's advertising budget at that time was only 5 lakhs. And they had not more than 5 staff. So I said, why not I experiment on these guys? So let me experiment with my franchising system on these guys, and luckily they were willing. So I formulated their business plan, brought in their competitive advantages and all of that what you have learned, and launched the franchise system, and shockingly it grew to 400 centers within, I think, about 5 to 7 years. And the franchisee centers, their library was bigger than the franchisors' corporate office. So many, the system just kicked in. When you used to advertise, we used to get like 1,000 lead, we could not process it. We used to waste it. So the system was very, very strong and very, very powerful. Again tested over Jet King Infotrain Limited. And again I tested elsewhere, and every time it worked very nicely. It works good for both the franchisor and the franchisee. And to come to this slide is that, why I say it is one of the best systems on the world and you cannot beat a franchising system by any other business model is because there is economizing. Think of share a cab, like share a taxi. You get a ride, you reach from spot A to you reach spot B, but you paid less because 4 people sat inside, so you paid 1/4. Yet you reached the B spot. So it was economizing. You saved money. Here in franchising system, you are sharing the brand. So you are sharing, again economizing. Otherwise, you build a brand right from scratch, and building a brand, it may take a lifetime to build a brand. It's that tough to build a brand. And really, and then there is no guarantee that your brand will succeed. But here, in this particular system, you are sharing a true and tried tested brand. So it's economizing. Now, why you want to do trial and error, the franchising, the entrepreneurs who will take up a franchise? Because already done by the franchisor. So, you are again economizing, the trial and error is cut down. Then the franchisor buys things in a huge volume, so he gets volume rebate and he passes that, distributes and passes and farms out that volume rebate to the franchisee owners. So it's all economizing and economizing. That's why it is a very powerful system. The type of franchises. Yeah. These are types of franchises. Product franchisee, service franchisee, business format franchisee. Okay, let's talk about the product franchisee. Product franchisee is simple. The father of franchise is McDonald's. But that's a services franchisee. And still their father is Coca-Cola. What you call as Coke now. The Coca-Cola company came up with a concentrate in Atlanta and they said we will distribute this secret formula or concentrate to people where, we will appoint the franchisee who are nothing but a bottling and a distribution plant. So somebody is a distribution plant, is a bottling plant, they mix the concentrate into the water and voila, they get a big brand, the bottling guy who is a franchisee, he gets a territory, geography to distribute the products, so he is a product franchisee. The next is the service franchisee. Education centers. These are all service franchisees. Then there is a business format franchisee. They give you a right from abroad that you run the entire business like a jockey. They got the rights, they are manufacturing in India, they are just copying everything what the foreigner has done. So, that's another kind of franchise. Business format franchise. Yeah. Next slide. Thank you. Now look at the structure of the franchises. You can start with becoming the molecule franchisee is a unit franchisee. The smallest one unit franchisee. The next is a cluster franchisee, that you may say that, boss, one franchise is too less for me to run. I want at least a cluster of 5. Just cancel it. अरे यार ये घर का आ गया मेरा. नहीं इसको खत्म बस. So next is you say that one unit franchisee, what will I run as So let me take a cluster, say 5 franchise cluster I will take. I'll run so that I will get my economies of scale. Next is area master franchise. Area, that means you say that, okay, I take Andheri and Bandra and all that blah blah blah. I took this area, but in this area I'm a master franchisee. I will not run a unit, or I may not run a unit, but I will appoint franchisees. So the master franchisee is a true extension of the franchisor. The franchisor shares his revenue with the master franchisee. So his identity is merged with the franchisor. The next is a city master franchise. As it says, like Bombay, Pune, or whatever, the city of your choice. Then state master franchise. Then zonal master franchise, like you say, the entire east zone of the country I will take, or a west zone or a southern zone I will take, or the entire country master franchise. Normally what happens with the Indian brands, when we develop the Indian brands, and then when we are going for the international franchising, that time we say we don't want to run units abroad. We want straight away country master franchise, otherwise we are not getting in that country. So we sell that entire country. Boss, culture, currency, and you know what to do over there, and the compliances. The franchise fee structure. Now, what does the franchisor get in return for leasing out things to the franchisee? He gets a franchise fees, the franchise, what we term as franchise establishment fee, some call it franchise fee, but it is primarily that you are starting a bike so that you are establishing something, so it's getting started so you kick start it, so the franchise establishment fee. The next is the ongoing royalty. So something is running, something is first is the onboarding, and then it is a running cost. As long as you're running, pay the royalty. Then once the end of the period, you say renew it. So you have to pay a renewal fees. It is normally half of the establishment fee, because they already trained you and taught you and spent the time over the franchisee. And then there could be a territory reservation deposit, like you took a certain territory, so you paid a security deposit. A deposit means always refundable. So security refundable deposit. So this is the franchise fee structure. This is what the franchisor gets for his trouble. Now franchise training and support. Now what happened? Most of the time, the people who take a franchise from a franchisor, they don't have any prior experience in a particular domain of knowledge. In a particular domain, they have no experience, no knowledge, nothing. They just say, I got normal admin ability. I can do the local marketing. And the rest you teach me. You do hand holding. You tell me like a dad looks over his shoulder, and you help me to get established and become profitable. So they provide this initial training. Then ongoing training is, the initial training may have a proper structure. Then there is ongoing training like upon request, upon requirement. Like I require this spot or that spot, I require that much training. Then they will give the franchisor shall give marketing advice but not execute your marketing. You are supposed, the franchisee, you are supposed to execute your marketing. He will give you the marketing plan, he will give you marketing strategy, he will give you communication strategy, he will give you all the creative artworks, the brand communication artworks, but he is not going to release it. So we say that up to pre-production, till pre-production he is supposed to give, the rest you do it according to your need, according to your territory. Then we always say, if it is national, it is to the cost of the franchisor, and if it is unique to one, then is the cost of the franchise is unique to one. Common to all is the cost of the franchisor. Because common to all, what is he going to do? Brand building, brand communication and brand positioning is just going to communicate that. Thank you. Thank you.
Sir, would you share this PPT?
Sure. ये some success stories I told you. I want just little bit, just 2 minutes. Now I'll tell you some shocking things about Hair Espresso. I was the franchise consultant for Mr. Javed Habib. When he went abroad at the airport, he saw in a glass cage 2 people cutting hair and not using any plumbing or water, etc., and charging just some $2 or something like that. So he came back to India and I was his franchise consultant. He told me, sir, आप इसको लेके जाएंगे आगे? Will you roll it? I said, yeah, I'll roll it. I like the concept. So it was started with only 50,000 capital. Can you imagine? Not even to cover a salary. And by end of the year, the valuation was 18 crore. So I had around 8 MBAs who were working to market these things. They were trying to take out an ROI. I said, boss, it will not fit your calculator. That many zeros. So this is the power of franchising. This is the power. Now, the franchisees face two challenges are faced by unit franchisee. The greatest resistance to purchase is capital. Money is the greatest resistance to purchase on anything. So, to find money to start the business, they find it a bit tough. Now, when you say franchisees, when it is selling at 5 lakh only investment, you will find at any given time in India 1 lakh people want it. That 5 lakh, lot of people will take your franchise. The next lot is 10 lakh, then 25 lakh, then crore and crores. As it goes up, the number of people looking for a franchise at that capital investment will come tumbling down. Something great the government of India did. Something really great the government of India did. They introduced CGTSME loan, credit guarantee to small and medium enterprise. That means giving money to the first-time entrepreneur, no balance sheet, no financial records, first-time entrepreneur, giving the capex and opex, one cycle opex, and that too collateral-free loan. And if you go belly up, don't worry, the government writes it off because you have given no collateral. So this encourages lot of people to jump into the system to become the franchisee. The next challenge they face is adjusting, because it is hybrid entrepreneurship. You are not an entrepreneur, you are not free to do what you want. You are more like an intrapreneur. You are more like a half manager, half owner. Owner because you invested money, and manager because it is somebody's brand which will come with a huge list of brand rules. You can do this, you can't do that. Otherwise, suppose you were running McDonald's and you give a McDonald's franchisee to somebody, and that guy says, sir, I have a college in the front, I have the same potatoes, same oil, can I make batata vada there? This is exactly what franchises do. So then you have to bring third party audit to go and check that they're not doing anything wrong and against the brand rules. That's okay. Franchise legalities. Abroad, there are very tough laws for franchising. Very, very tough law. Like, the franchisor has to declare this and declare that, and the franchise is one hell of lot protected abroad. In India, it goes under Contract Act. It's just a contract law. The Contract Act applies to this. As I told you, what franchisee leases out is a time, the tenure and the territory. So the most important thing is that what is the territory and what territory you are getting. The types of franchisee, FOFO, COFO and FOCO. FOFO is franchisee owned, franchisee operated. He is owning it, he has invested it and he is going to operate it. COFO is company owned, franchisee operated. Suppose it's a capital intensive industry where the franchisee is not going to invest money mostly in the petrol pumps. The government may own the pump or some large big company will own the pump. So they will build it, they will operate it and transfer it. So but still the ownership will remain with the franchisor. So it becomes company owned, franchisee operated. And FOCO, franchisee owned, company operated. The reverse. So a lot of time the franchisee says, sir, I have got money, I will make an investment, but I don't want to sit and operate the business. More like he's an investor kind of franchisee. So it is, franchisee owned and company operated. So company operates for him and charges him for operating it. Question? Wait, let me finish this. Then, finish it up. Next. You can remember the slide number, so you can ask for the particular slide. Is franchising right for you? It's a very big question. Is this particular X franchisee or Y franchisee, is it right for me? The answer is, do you like that activity? The first thing is, do you like the activity? The activity comes first. Suppose you like education, you like food industry, you like God knows what industry or travel industry or education industry or God knows what you like. Do you like it first? So you must be passionate about that industry or want to do that. You may not have knowledge about it, but you must have passion for it. Only then you will last. So the next is, expects reasonable ROI. The franchisee, what does he expect? A reasonable ROI. Normally we say, I'm just putting a figure. So if you made an investment in the capital markets, you can say that safely I can expect if I had done an index investing, I would have got around 15%. Index investing. So I'm working so hard and all that, so what I should be getting? So reasonable, 30% ROI is good enough. So franchisee expects around 30% ROI, but in some cases it may go to 300%, 3000%, it will go crazy. But 30% is reasonable ROI, and a lot of people, they will get in the system for franchising with 30% expectancy of ROI. And then what they require, next is, they have to follow the guideline. They have to agree to follow the guideline. Do you know a great franchisor will make a very bad franchisee? It's very funny. A great franchisor will make a very bad franchisee and vice versa. A very great franchisee will make a very bad franchisor. The great franchisor, he likes to experiment. The franchisee is an operator. He hates you experimenting and disturbing his operation and his business processes. So he who is experimenting, he'll harass the franchisor. Sir, why not we do this and why not we do that? He'll say, I have developed it, now please go and just implement it. The franchisor. So a great franchisor makes a horrible franchisee and vice versa. Then, local promotion ability. You don't require much ability. Like, this is what a franchisee, but a franchisor requires huge amount of ability. A franchisee requires reasonable investment, reasonable ROI, need general administration ability and general promotion ability. No big deal, man. That's why hybrid entrepreneur. He's not gone into a job. He started his own business, so it's all half. It's beautiful. Now, well-known franchise brands. See, these are the father of franchising system, McDonald, Ray Kroc. You must buy his book, The Golden Arches, and read that. To me, I have learnt a lot by simply reading the great man, the Ray Kroc. So, McDonald, Coca-Cola, as I told you about, an Indian franchisee, Lenskart, is like a central kitchen. What is Lenskart? Golden Arches. The Golden Arches. It's an Ray Kroc, or must be written by somebody about him, or may have been written, I do not remember. But it is all about him, his life, how he started, how to sell a franchise, what he did, or he shared all his experiments. He was an ordinary salesman who developed the system, and the McDonald brand never belonged to him, it belonged to two brothers. And they were doing well. The McDonald brothers. And he took over from them and he took it worldwide. Chalo, your favorite. Starts Q&A.
Before we start the Q&A, I just want to set the order. Questions मैं filter करूँगा कि वो ये answer करेंगे कि नहीं, because questions बहुत होंगे. Online वालों के भी है and offline वालों के भी है. I would give preference to the offline वाlas. Online वाले की questions note हो रहे हैं यहाँ पे. I will review those questions which the organizers have noted. Have you noted all the questions which have come? Offline का I'll filter the, because I want to make sure it's relevant for everyone. So I think he had interrupted in between only, so let me start off with him. Bol bhai. I think the mic, no, because won't get, they will not be able to hear. And एकदम loudly बोलो, जोर से बात करो. Mic है तो भी जोर से बात करो. तो online वाला बस line है.
So my question was regarding the types of franchisees. As you mentioned, there were three types: FOFO, FOCO, and I don't remember the third one. So what are the advantages and disadvantages of each of the model? And which model should we be selecting for our franchisee?
See, personally, I feel it's a very detailed question. I would like to, confine the question to him. आप सिर्फ उतना आंसर करो जितना बोलते हैं ना कि भाई इनके लिए अभी के लिए काफी है, rather than going into the details.
Got it. So what happens is, when you say FOFO, franchisee owned, franchisee operated, is a franchisee is capable of operating the business. So that suits him. That is, he has to ask, do I like this? Do I have passion for this business? Do I like this business? Do I like this activity? So he'll become a good FOFO. Now, franchisee owned, company operated. He doesn't care about the business model. He's a normal investor. So he just brings his money and he's saying, how can I make more money from my money? Should I go to mutual fund, stock market, or buy this franchise? And suppose if I'm going to get a lot of money, then I might try this out. So that becomes a franchisee owned and company operated, because he's an investor and he's passive franchisee. Now, company owned, franchisee operated. The company is owning it and the franchisee is operating, because if it is a very big capital investment, then the franchisor puts the money inside. He says, boss, you take it for running. Old time we said, take my business for running and give me some fixed amount of money, or a fixed plus X amount of money. It could be 1 to 1.
Give some examples of franchisee owned, company operated, prominent ones.
Franchisee owned and company operated. When I met Javed Habib, he is the best example. He did not have a single franchisee owned, franchisee operated. He all had company owned and the franchisee owned and company operated. So what he said, you do the interior the way I want. I will bring staff and the consumables. I will run the business and I will give you from top line 30%. So that guy said, "Arey, 30% I will earn more money." So he liked that and he took it up. So this is an example for it.
Any other prominent one you have in mind? Anybody else? The audience can also,
Like-
you know of anyone, please say that. Right? Is that franchise or company operated?
Company operated, 30% of it. The rest 70% is franchise, company or company operated.
You can have any number of combination. This structure is same.
So,
the company owned or
In
franchise.
case the online guys didn't hear it, the name is Coffee de Bella. It's a well-known coffee chain. Some of them, he's saying 30% are like that, franchisee-owned, company operated. The remaining are franchisee operated.
You can have a mix and you can have.
Okay, ask me. It has to filter.
Which according to the three models is most viable for a franchisor?
No. I think there are no one size fits all. The answer depends in a very specific context, and depends not just on the franchisor, depends on who's taking the franchise. Uski औकात है run करने की. Why does he have a mix? Sahil said that they have a mix, and he said you can have any amount of mix. So it depends on both the situations. I think I've fairly answered, right? Okay. Yeah. बोलो. मैं filter करूँगा बाद में repeat करूँगा.
Sir, basically, so we have a brand where we sell online on our website also, and we have company outlets also. Now, our online sales happen pan India. Now, in a particular area, let's say Bombay, someone takes our franchising and opens it. So, first time a customer buys it from the franchisee shop, he likes the product. Second time, he'll definitely prefer to buy it online. So then it's a clash of interest because वो sale company को मिल रहा है और franchisor को नहीं मिल रहा उसका that customer. So how do we manage that clash of interest?
Okay, this is today's age where stuff is available brick and click. You could have a very successful brick and click model, and this is a possibility.
Customer, he takes it from the franchisee.
I'll
And
take,
second purchase, he
take
does it
that.
online.
I'll take the question.
Please take this. It's interesting. Worth enough answer.
See what happens, there is a plus side and a minus side. There is no 100% correct solution. So it is just about like you're given a territory. Once you've given a territory to somebody, any sale coming in from that particular territory has to go to the wallet of that guy. But then you rightfully said that the online world cannot be controlled. So while preparing the agreement, you can have that excluded. Simple as that.
But then the franchisor's interest is gone. I mean, his sale will drop.
No, franchisee's interest is hurt. Franchisor is happy, na?
Yeah, franchisee's
Interest is hurt.
sale will drop down then.
But you
So the
can,
repeat purchase will happen online.
you cannot do anything about it. Otherwise, there is like, pin code franchisee. Any sale coming in from this particular pin code, you get money from it. Simple as that.
Can I just suggest something?
Pin code.
Okay. If I was the one solving this problem, मैं बीच का रास्ता निकालता. जो तेरे दुकान पे बिकेगा, उस पे तो जो existing model है वो चलेगा. If somebody from that pin code is buying online, I would give you some percentage.
That's right.
उस पिन कोड के हमारे पुराने क्लाइंट्स हो ही सकते हैं.
तो वो तुमको ऑलरेडी उनके साथ में ट्रांसपेरेंसी रखनी पड़ेगी कि मेरे ये पुराने क्लाइंट्स है. देख भाई, जितना ज्यादा कॉम्प्लिकेट करेगा उतना रिलेशनशिप ब्रेक होगी. You will have to give and take. Okay.
Let me take this answer. That what happens many times we sell, we already have a unit franchisee functioning in a city, and then we sell a city franchise. What happened to that unit franchise? We pack it in. You own it. That's it. Whether you appoint before, pre, post, boss, you took this city. Is now this all revenue from this date you have taken out goes to you in your kitty. So there is a solution. I said there is not a perfect solution. There is a reasonably good solution to it. Like I told you, pin code franchising.
जोर से बात कीजिए, मतलब यहाँ पे टिकिए.
जरूर,
वो ऑनलाइन वालों को आवाज ठीक से नहीं जा रही.
अच्छा, okay, okay.
ये है माइक उनका.
Fine. I'll stand here and talk.
Yeah.
Now this question somebody is taking.
हाँ. Quick. बोलो.
What determines whether a brand goes for franchisee-owned, franchisee-operated model or company-owned, franchisee-operated model? And also, is it true that the more premium brands, such as Apple or any of the luxury clothing line stores, choose to buy real estate themselves and invest and build the store themselves?
The answer is, take this. The answer is very simple. It is If it is capital intensive, beyond the means of the franchisee to run it, then in that particular case, it will be like company owned and then he will give it to the franchisee to operate. Now suppose the investment is 50 crore. He will not do it. Normally it happens in this Bharat petrol pump and all that petroleum pump, that you fill up gas. So the company buys that plot, they build everything over there, but they don't want to run it. So company owned and franchisee operated.
Okay guys, let's just give a chance to one of the interesting online questions. You will get your time. So some questions come up.
Yeah. So the question is from Mr. Harshil. The question is, in the apparel sector, can we have MBO franchisees where we pull in 2 to 3 brands?
MBO is multi-brand outlet.
Yeah. Where we pull in 2 to 3 brands and these brands have their own USPs. One provide men shirts, other t-shirts, etc.
See, this happens, the franchisor will have a policy. The franchisor has a policy whether he wants you to open an exclusive store like, say H&M, so he doesn't want to any other brand, any other mix coming in the store. But a multi-brand outlet can have multi-brand franchises, but he will not get any exclusive things. Like you won't get exclusive territory and all. Only what he has rights over what he is selling in the multi-brand store. So he can have this thing depending on the franchises and whether they want to permit it or don't want to permit it. Like in case of, let us say, Javed Abhi, we said you are not permitted to do any other business in this premises. So you have to run only this. But in a product franchisee, it may not be even a franchisee, it could be a dealership. Franchise is more like when value is added towards the end, nothing else. Rest is a dealer, distributor, normal.
बोलो यहाँ पे क्या था?
How can I ensure that my money is safe? Because I have made the investment, I have made the store for the person. He will come and he will bring in people. If it doesn't work, he might go out. But I have made the whole structure, I have made the whole thing for him. He's just putting, I put in the money for the inventory too. He's just putting in as employee.
According to me, he already mentioned the most important part when you take a franchise is the due diligence. अगर तुम्हारा homework बहुत solid किया हुआ है, starting by taking their audited financials to actually doing a very deep study of the market and all, I think this is more of the pre-work. अभी तुम पैसा लगाने के बाद then only recourse is your agreement. कि जो agreement के terms है, वही हिसाब से तुम कर सकते हो, उसके बाहर तो तुम जा नहीं सकते हो. That is my understanding.
Yeah.
बराबर? चलो आगे बोलो. No. I think short में बोल दे रहा हूँ. वो उनका बोलने का मतलब क्या है कि people who take franchise, okay, वो लोग are not the entrepreneurs who are taking the full risk that you take in a typical business. They are piggybacking or riding on the success of an existing brand, which gives them not just the brand but usually also the know-how of running that particular store or running that particular outlet or running particular franchise. So that is why he is not calling them full-fledged entrepreneurs, he is calling them hybrid. कि भाई थोड़ा तुम्हारा employee mentality है, थोड़ा तुम्हारा वो mentality है. You are more passive. A typical entrepreneur is a very active one. Yeah? चलो फटाफट. हाँ. कुछ है क्या इसके ऊपर काउंटर? No, government is not giving incentive. He has actually done it practically. What he has done is, franchisee, if you ask them to invest 1 crore, obviously the number of interested franchisee will be less. But when you tell those guys that there is a loan available from the government where you don't even have to give a collateral and you will facilitate that loan. So he said about a particular scheme, central government CG.
Credit guarantee to small and medium enterprise, and the amount is a whopping 5 crore, 5 CR, and without prior financial track record. All you have to be a Bharatiya Nagrik, 18 baras, qualified. If you are an MBA, the bank will look at you very positively, and the franchisor will certify you, train you and certify you that this guy can run the business. The bank will only take an interview. The nationalized banks, they do it. The private banks, they are supposed to do it but never do it. But nationalized banks, yeah, they do it.
Is this your recent experience or this was many years ago?
Many years ago.
But this scheme continues for sure.
Yeah, it's continuing. CGT SME, you can go to their website, CGT SME.
Okay. Does Harshil ko kiya kya? Unmute kiya kya? Okay na? Anyone else from the team?
Sir mentioned that we have to make a exclusivity for the territory. For example, 2 kilometers. So if I get inquiry, I want to do the franchisees. So if I get 2 inquiries at the same time, how do I do the background check? Like whom to give out of the 2?
He is asking from the franchisor perspective. Okay, how do I select a franchise? कि मैं इसको दूं कि उसको दूं? हो सकता है 5 क्या 10 इंक्वायरी भी आवे.
See, if you the guy who wants to take the franchise, you are a franchisor, and the guy who wants to take the franchise, he'll select a territory. So whose territory it is, gets that business. You are going to offer him all the territories.
No, but he has multiple bids for that same territory. So how does he select the right one? He has 5. So all 5 of them have bid for that same territory. Now how does he select amongst them?
First come, first served. We say that if your money hits my bank first, suppose his money hits my bank first, I'll give it to him. I'll say territory sold, blocked on the Google map. Finished.
But are there no other concerns कि उनका criminal track record check करने का या उनका कुछ X check करने का Y check करने का?
There is a big list of finding that, first it is a like-minded person. They will not fight with you and there will not be conflicts in the future, because the conflict is built into the recruiting the franchisee. So you have to select the franchisee. Is he like-minded? Does he like this business? Will he follow my rules? Or is he going to create trouble for me? Then you may check his criminal record, you may check his bank, you may do all the kind of checking, the normal KYC. There are, therefore, so long as you pay money in India, you get anything. Just go on Google and find out.
You can ask him separately for references also. Don't worry. कि कौन audit करेगा, कौन check करेगा, कौन करेगा, and not just him. There are other speakers who are now joining us. Okay, hold on to your questions. I'll give you more time later on. Let me get the other 2 speakers also into the room. उनके साथ भी question answer होगा, and he is also there, right? करा लो, join करा लिया? किन्होंने join किया है? तो उनको मैं वो कर देता हूँ. Who's joined? Ajay Gupta. If you can start his video 1 second. I want to.
The hybrid is clear to you, na? Hybrid is half owner, half manager. That stops hybrid. Half owner, half manager. Hybrid.